Yes, sir. The weekend is over.
It is. Another weekend in the books.
Yes, sir. This is my favorite time. When y'all can't see me or see us and we're just talking in the background.
Yeah.
Like that's the best time, bro.
I like that time too. It's hard to explain why we like that time, but it's just cool.
It adds mystery.
Yeah.
They can hear us, but they can't see us.
It's almost like when you're listening to a radio host.
Yeah.
You can't see them, but you're creating a picture in your head of what they look like.
Let me get my radio host voice on.
Okay.
Welcome to the Sportaholics. I'm the host, Russ, here with my main man, Peyton. He's the expert. You're looking for expert takes. Oh, you should follow him on Instagram at
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I thought that was very good. You sounded like a radio host.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a good show for you guys. Come on in.
Yep, it's the Weekend Hangover.
Yes, sir. Let's get this music bumping a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Always with the jams though. Like those. What do you call it when there's no lyrics?
Instrumentals.
Instrumental.
Yeah.
See, you would know.
Yeah. I am the music guy.
Yeah.
You just already told me that.
I think you wear 6 hats and I just wear 1.
Man, listen. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get through this.
Hopefully my hat is like really big. The one hat I wear.
You carry a large hat. By the way.
Okay.
It's like a sombrero.
All right.
Yeah. A really large sombrero.
Speaking of sombreros, when are we like making our out of this country trip?
Oh man.
Because I know you took one to, where was it? Remember like the spring of 22 or 23, you told me you went, was it Colombia?
I did go to Colombia.
Yeah. Dude.
That was an epic trip.
Man.
But we can't talk about that.
Okay, fair.
That's not for TV.
I had a feeling.
That is not for TV.
I don't know why I even brought it up.
But you know, imagine Sportaholics in Colombia. That would have to be like World Cup.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Welcome in.
Yeah.
Welcome in. We just getting started, man.
That's what we do. Just getting started.
We getting started, but the weekend is over. I hope you guys had an amazing time during the weekend.
The weekend is over, but the hangover is not.
Oh, it's not at all. It is not at all. All right, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm the host, Russ. Welcome, man. This is my guy, Peyton. All right. And November is here. You know what that means, Peyton?
What does that mean?
It's No Shave November. And obviously, this guy didn't get the message. He's all freshened up.
Yeah.
I got a head start into October. October, I finished the month off strong. And
yeah, you did.
I'm going into No Shave November looking very rough. And
Well,
I can't wait to see what I look like on the other side.
Before you mentioned that, I was going to say, we're at the beginning of November. We're really in the swing of things now. Like with basketball season back, we're getting close to the college football playoff.
Mhm.
The NFL is at the midpoint. So
College basketball is in.
college basketball is coming up.
Woo.
Like full swing, full turnstile. We're all the way in there.
I don't know if I can handle it.
I can.
I don't know if I can handle it, Peyton. You're gonna have to carry a bulk of the load here because I'm
Well, like we were talking before the show, you wear multiple hats. I just wear one big hat.
yeah.
Hopefully all of that falls under the umbrella and or sombrero of one big hat.
Yes.
And then you can follow along.
Yeah, bro. You're gonna have to put me on your back. You're gonna have to carry the boats because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle all this pressure, man.
You got it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. That's why I got
The host
you here.
and the expert.
Hey, man. So for you guys that's sitting at home, welcome, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in with us on this Monday evening. It's dark outside now. It gets dark early now, so
Yeah.
I don't know what to call this time, man. But
And
welcome
it's
to the
bright
show.
in the morning too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Man, I woke up at like 6:30 this morning. The sun was out. I was like, I cannot deal with this. Every year it's the same thing. Every year is the same thing, man. But with that being said, it's the weekend hangover. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Peyton, how was your weekend?
It was good, man.
Okay.
You guys know what to expect of me at this point. Another weekend of sports-filled viewing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You know, just taking in what I can
Yep.
and making some observations. So how was your weekend, man?
Same, bro. I spent all Sunday watching NFL action. I was able to catch some of the college games on Saturday, but other than that, man, I had a really good weekend. I can't lie. That extra hour when the clock rolled backwards, it was amazing to me. You know, I really do appreciate that time, and I got an extra hour of sleep, and it felt great. Felt great. So
that's why I felt so good on Sunday morning. I was wondering why I got up at 7 a.m. and I was like, dang, this does not feel like my typical Sunday morning.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So before we get too far into the show, man, like I said before, I am the host, Russ. That's the expert, Peyton. If you're looking for any expert analysis, count on him. I'm just here to kind of drive the ship.
Oh, come on now. You have your expert takes in there all the time.
You know, so with that being said, this is the weekend hangover. You guys, if you're watching on Instagram, please feel free to join me in the chat. I'll be, commenting and responding to whatever you guys have to offer as we move the show along. So I'm looking forward to what we have planned for you guys today. Just to look ahead, we have the weekend wagers. We have bar trivia. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys answer. And don't cheat. Please don't cheat. But we have bar trivia coming up right after weekend wagers. We have our cold takes from Friday's episode. And then we also have
Cheers and Jeers.
Cheers and Jeers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to it, Peyton. I can't wait to hear what you have to talk about. It's going to be a really, really good episode.
Absolutely, man.
I
heard you got something off the top.
Oh, I do have something.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where this goes.
And it is nothing that's too serious, but me as an observer, like I just want to let the people know exactly how I feel about NBA basketball and basketball in general. So with that being said, Peyton, talk to the people for a minute, man. Let them know how you feel. Let them know where they can find you on social media. And
man, I don't post much. That's for sure. Yeah. I'm trying to post a little bit more on X. And as you all know, you can find us on X at the Sportaholics. I believe it's with 2 E's.
It is with 2 E's. Yes.
Yeah, I had to double check. You can tell that's how inactive I am. I don't even know my own username. But no, we're getting there. We're trying to post more. We're trying to be more active. But I'm really all here for the Sportaholics at this point, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, that's what I want to promote.
Yeah.
So you guys make sure you're tuned in because we're trying to get more active on both X and Instagram. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
With that being said, man, if you haven't already, if you're watching on Instagram, please make sure you go over to YouTube, follow the channel at The Sportaholics. Like he said, it's with 2 E's. So that's THEE Sportaholics. And let's drive the conversation over there. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and leave a comment and let us know exactly what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And we're only going up from here. We're only going up from here.
That's facts.
Yeah, 100%. So let me go ahead and get into my rant because this is something that, as I was watching basketball over the weekend and football, you know, I grew up as a football player, and I must say that I have a huge admiration for the game of basketball. The reason why I have an admiration for basketball is because in football, you have a lot of details that don't get shown on film. They don't show up as you're watching the game. You know, like there's quarterbacks who are reading the defenses before the snap is called. There are running backs who's looking for cutback lanes and so on and so forth. Like you can't really see these things. Linebackers, defensive linemen who, you know, have to protect their gaps. Like I only know these things because I'm a football player. But watching basketball, I was watching Luka Doncic over the weekend, and the way that this guy plays the game, it just shows up. The creativity is more prevalent than it is in football. Now, I must say, Saquon Barkley had that one play where he hopped over a guy backwards, Like that was an insane play.
It
And
was.
some of these toe tap catches on the sideline and just the awareness in the game. Like I don't want to take anything away from football, but the creativity is on full display when you are watching the sport of basketball, right? So just from the step back threes to the crossovers to the behind the backs and the way that these guys get creative in their moves, I must say that I'm a huge fan, and it's always a sight to watch because no telling what you're going to get on a night in and night out basis.
That's a great point, man. And you know what's crazy? When you started talking about that, there's this connection between former football players and former basketball players, and there's a crossover because like the highest level of competition for me, I only played varsity basketball and I played freshman football.
Right.
But as I got older, I became more fascinated with football. You're the opposite.
Exactly.
Your highest level of competition was football.
Yep.
You find yourself more fascinated with basketball. So I think that crossover is interesting, and I think there are some similarities between each game, but you're right. The creativity comes on the basketball court. Football is more about your job, your assignment. I think it's a great point by you.
No, I mean, and just to your point, man, I think as athletes, we understand a bit more how hard we have to work in order to be successful on those different levels. And, we noticed that LeBron James is watching Sunday Night Football when he's cheering on Pat Mahomes, or watching the Super Bowl when he's tweeting out things that are happening during the game, and vice versa. Pat Mahomes is watching LeBron and he points out some of the things that LeBron is doing on the court, even in year 21 at this point?
22. Crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's insane to say that. But
right.
I did want to take time to say, for everybody who out there who plays basketball, and man, your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. And same thing to the football players, man. Your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. It just really takes a different eye to notice exactly what's going on the football field rather than on the basketball court. Because on the basketball court, you hit somebody with a step back behind the back and you pull a three. It's just like, yo, how did they pull that out their bag? So big ups to all of you guys, and keep doing what you're doing, and I'm here for it. And I love some good basketball moves, and I might not know all the details. I like playing it. I like playing pickup and all that good stuff. I didn't grow up playing basketball. I wasn't really that tall. So but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And with that being said, let's move on to the show, man.
Let's do it, man.
Let's get into
Love
it.
that intro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. All right. So the first segment we have is weekend wagers. Peyton, do you want to start it off, or you want me to start it off?
I'll go ahead and start it off.
Right, cool.
And we're starting it off on a positive note here, right? Because we finally got one of our spotlight college football picks correct. Okay, I know Florida didn't win the game, but they did cover that big spread of 16.5.
I must give you credit for that, by the way.
Because I had to come through at some point, right? I mean,
I wasn't big on the Gators, but they did hold their own in this game. They didn't get the outcome that they were expecting, but I must say that they put up a very competitive game.
And that's what I've been looking for in this game, man. This is a storied rivalry, and we finally saw a fourth quarter game where it's tied in the fourth quarter. It's competitive at all levels. But, Russ, I have a question for you, man. Like, what did you make of Florida's quarterback, DJ Lagway, going down in the second quarter? And this is really a football question I have for you, because there's a reason Florida was ahead in the game, and I think it was in due part to DJ Lagway's ability to run with the football.
Yeah.
Right? Now, he got hurt running with the football. It was a non-contact injury. So I guess my question to you is, when you're talking about injuries in the game of football, does it come down to luck, or does it come down to protecting yourself and maybe at the quarterback position not running with the ball as much?
Yeah, so
because that was a non-contact injury, right? Like it could happen to anybody. So what's your take on that?
So one, we hate non-contact injuries. Those are the worst, and I've seen a few of them this past weekend on the college level and as well on the NFL level. certain things happen during the play or after the play where players just kind of tweak, joints, ligaments, so on and so forth. And it's very unfortunate. But with any sport, it's always going to be next man up mentality. So no matter who's behind, you have to always be ready. And I guess that'll be a message to the younger crowd that's watching, man. You might not be starting right now, but you have to be ready and prepared for whatever may happen in the near future or the future. You have to be ready to step in. That's why it's important to pay attention in practice, important to pay attention while you're in a meeting room, classroom, so on and so forth, man. So
True.
I think for Florida, it's very unfortunate. Hopefully it's not too devastating of news because DJ Lagway was kind of finding his own in that Florida Gator offense. So it's unfortunate, but to see exactly what they did throughout the game says a lot about the preparation that they put into this game. Yeah. So,
and then my main takeaway was, although Florida played better in the game, they still had that big time mistake, which cost them on the botched field goal attempt.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but it happened in the fourth quarter. And I don't want to get into the details of this game too much. I really just wanted to shout out a positive take from us because we actually got a college game right.
That's always good.
As Bill Belichick once said, oftentimes at the college or pro level, you lose more games than you win. And I think you can find that especially at the college level. There aren't many dominant offenses that can just take over game whenever.
Right.
If you're willing to avoid the big negative play, you can find yourself in a lot of games. And I think Florida learned that until the fourth quarter of that game. So enough for me from that game, but I was happy to hear your answer to that question about DJ Lagway and his injury.
I mean, it's always going to be big. Like it's not really about the X's and O's. It's more about the Joes,
the Jimmies and Joes.
The Jimmies and Joes. So depth is going to always play a factor. And there's a lot of teams out there, and I'm trying not to say their name, but there's a lot of teams out there who don't have depth on their roster, and their first team is it's their end all be all.
Yeah.
And those are the teams when you have one player go down and everything goes into smoke. So
that's the nature of the sport, right?
Yeah. So I think that's ultimately where we find ourselves in this game of football, basketball, no matter what it is, like in sports in general. If you don't have depth, you can find yourself in a sticky situation really quickly.
That's true, man.
All right. So
what you got?
As far as for me and my weekend wagers, it was a very unsuccessful weekend for me. And I want to thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, man. Shoot.
I had the parlay of a lifetime going on, and it really wasn't that big. It was a couple $100, but I put together this monstrous parlay, and everything was hitting until the end of the Falcons-Cowboys game. And I placed this bet. I placed Bijan Robinson with the over, and he hit in rushing yards, hit the over in rushing yards. He hit that, but I also needed him to score a touchdown. And I waited, and he still didn't score a touchdown, man. So
how many legs were in there? Just curious.
Oh, man, do you really want? I wouldn't.
Was it double digits?
I wouldn't advise anybody to build a parlay that I built out, but yeah, it was 11 legs.
Man,
it was 11 legs, and I hit 10 out of the 11.
I'm just mad for you.
Yes, bro. It was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It was very unfortunate, but that's okay. The whole time while I was making the bet, I was like, man, you know what? The Dallas Cowboys suck. Let me go ahead and load up on this Dallas Cowboys game versus the Falcons. And Bijan Robinson, he's going to have a field day because that's what this guy said.
Well,
so
okay,
I
wait.
I went with that.
In a way, he kind of did. He went crazy on the yards.
He did.
Yeah.
But
he just didn't punch it in.
To have all those yards and not get a touchdown is very
disheartening.
It is unsatisfying for me, man.
Shoot.
So it is what it is.
We'll have our get back moment.
You know,
we'll let the people know.
You owe me $5.
That's fair.
You owe me $5.
That's fair.
No, but that's really it, man. And you play to win the game.
Yeah.
Right. And with betting, it's a pay to play type situation. So I'm not mad at all. I think that
it's just a matter of time. You've been close on some of these multi-leg parlays that you've been cooking up. I guarantee you it's just a moment of time. I don't want to be a bad influence, but
the parlay was equivalent to a game-winning drive like the Rams in the Super Bowl where they got down to the 1 yard line and they couldn't punch it in, man.
Yeah.
It was everything
the Titans.
The Titans
against the
Rams. Right. I got down to the goal line. Everything was firing off.
Stretched out for it.
Derrick Henry with the rushing yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson with the over and passing yards. Everything was firing off. It was so good. And I was just like, by the time that the Falcons and Cowboys game was over, everything had hit. And I'm like, come on. Just find a way. Find a way. I could put some gas in my car. Like I was already spending the money before it was even made, right?
Right.
So, but
those are the kind of thoughts you have, right? It's like, oh, what am I going to do with this?
Man, I was setting myself up to be in a great situation, and it's not as far. It kind of falls back into the same area as fantasy football when all of these players they're reading their DMs and their comments, and people are just going off on them because they didn't get enough points to win their fans fantasy football league,
which is insane, by the way.
You know,
I mean,
so Bijan, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
you've been holding it down,
you're
bro.
Coming, that's how you come. That's the right way to do it.
You know, like I'm not here to bash you, man. I'm just saying, bro. Had you punched it in, you would have made me a better person. That's it, man. That's it. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on. All right, so for our next segment, we have bar trivia. Peyton, and for this bar trivia, we're gonna go to the NBA. All right. So let me read it off here. Okay, and we want to get your guys' answer as well. So by all means, if you know the answer, don't cheat. Don't cheat. All right. If you know the answer, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and let's see where we're at by the end of the show. All right.
It's going to be hard for them not to cheat, to be fair. Just being fair to the audience.
If anybody gets it right, I will know because they'll put it in immediately. If it take them some time.
All right. There you go.
I'm sitting in the comment section on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
So if you're on Instagram and you type the answer, I'll know you didn't cheat.
Right.
But if it take you some time, then I know you
gotta be immediate. See if you can beat us.
Yes,
because we're gonna come up with the answer. I have a feeling pretty quickly.
We got somebody saying they want their money back from their bets last week. All right, so
wait, which ones? We've been good. I like the Florida pick. I had the Pistons over the Sixers. Which one?
I don't know.
All
right. So for bar trivia, guys, here we go. George Gervin's most points scored in a quarter record was broken in 2015 by this player.
Oh,
okay. And the record still holds true today.
Okay.
Bonus points if you know how many points he scored and who is the person who broke George Gervin's most points scored in a quarter in 2015.
Klay Thompson, 37 points.
Oh my gosh. No, and there's no way.
I wasn't looking at. You can go back to the camera. I was not looking at the computer.
Was
I right?
Way. That is correct.
Okay.
I guess the end of the show is done.
Did anybody get it on the chat?
No, nobody got it in the chat, bro.
That's so weird that I know that though. I've been watching too much Sports Center.
Oh
what is that?
That is absolutely
weird.
Correct. Congratulations, bro.
That's so.
The next round of Evan Williams is on me.
Okay.
All right. Man. All right. So I guess we move on.
I don't want to be like a stat pumping machine though. I'd rather have like the intellect takes. Like I have a weird feeling about myself right now. Like the fact that I just knew that off the rip, like what am I doing?
I got to figure out a way to hide my screen.
No, you can go back and look. I did not look at the screen.
I don't know. I don't know. I got to figure out how to hide my screen because there's no way 2 weeks in a row you get these questions correct.
If only I knew like what team he did it against. Is that in there?
No, it's not in there. I didn't dig that deep.
Okay,
But
good,
damn,
because that's what
Peyton.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay,
In
I
a
feel like
way, I'm ashamed of myself. I don't
feel
know.
like
This
with the
is
Spurs
weird.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Whatever. Either way.
Okay. All right. So let's move. Let's move on to cold takes.
Okay.
Peyton, take it away, man.
So this wasn't necessarily a take by one of us, but I feel like at this point in the show, we have to address some of the biggest news that came across the NFL today.
Okay.
Dennis Allen was released as head coach of the Saints.
Very unfortunate.
I have a bunch of notes that I want to get to here. Do you have anything to say about this before I get to what I want to say?
Well, I mean, I don't think that while the Saints are having not the best year or the year that they thought they would be having, I think that they've been playing good ball. For the past 3 years, they've been struggling, but you kind of see the upside to what they can be. And I don't know if the firing of Dennis Allen was the right move.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm a huge fan of Dennis Allen and I know his schemes and everything of that sort, but I don't think that was the right move. I think that you're maybe just a couple transactions away from being where you want to be. There's a lot of there've been a lot of injuries on the Saints team.
There have been.
So like I don't know if this was the right move, but the head coach always gets the
brunt of the blame.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and he's not the first coach that we've seen get fired this year.
Yep.
So
yep.
You know, that's really all that I have to say. I'm not too sure. I didn't really have time to digest what happened in the Saints organization, but
yeah,
I do think that they could have given him a little bit more time.
Okay.
A little, and I'm always lenient, you know.
Yeah, as am I, for the record. I'm with you there.
You know, I think that I don't want to put too much pressure on Derek Carr, but is that the quarterback of the future? I don't know. The receiving core is down.
Big question mark.
You know, so it's just like Alvin Kamara doing Alvin Kamara things.
Yeah. So for me, when I think about Dennis Allen's tenure with the Saints, the big mark on him is that there just wasn't one thing he could hang his hat on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I go to the loss against the Buccaneers a few weeks back.
Okay.
Where the Saints couldn't stop the run, and they were relatively healthy on the defensive side of the ball at that point.
Okay.
And you're in a desperate spot. You're 2-3 as a football team at home playing a divisional opponent, and you're a defensive head coach, and you can't stop the run. That's tough.
Man.
And he also, you know, in close games against the Eagles and the Falcons, for whatever reason throughout his tenure, he also didn't close out those close games.
Yeah.
And I feel like that goes on the head coach as well. Yeah. But with all that said, to your point, the Saints have bigger problems than just Dennis Allen.
Yeah, man.
Okay. The 2017 draft, I'm just going to rattle off some names here real quick. I'll try to be quick. First pick, Marshawn Lattimore.
Okay.
He's a good player, right? Second pick, Ryan Ramczyk, who's not in the NFL anymore, but was a great starting right tackle for a long time.
Yep.
You had Trey Hendrickson in that class, who plays for the Bengals now.
Yep.
You had Marcus Williams, who is now on the Ravens. So my point is that you had that draft, which kind of carried this team for some time.
Yeah.
And as the Saints have gotten farther away from that draft class, it hasn't worked out that much. And I think they're just closer to the middle of the pack in the NFL than the elites in the NFL. And it's not just on Dennis Allen. I think there are more moves to be made here.
I really want to do like a search on what their overall record was with Dennis Allen being the head coach. I don't know if you know that off the top of your head, but how many games did they win last year?
9.
They won 9
games.
9-8. So, with that being said, what's the Saints' record this year?
2-7.
2-7 is tough, but they won 9 games last year.
Yep.
We have a coach who has been a head coach in the NFL for over a decade by winning 8 or more games because the organization has that much faith in them and him, and that coach being Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
He's been they've been a middle of the pack organization for quite some time.
They haven't sniffed the Super Bowl in quite some time. Yeah.
So my question will be to the Saints organization, who are you going to bring in?
Right.
That's going to do a better job. That's not a question that needs to be answered now, but that's going to always be the question. Like, you can fire somebody, cool, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now what?
Right.
Are you rebuilding? Are you expecting a 1-year turnaround, or the rest of the season if you figure it out, and then next season is it going to be, oh, we expect to go to the Super Bowl? Like, what's the this feels like an impulse.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh, I don't think that was an impulse at all. Like, I feel like he didn't do anything last year. He wasn't doing anything this year. Everybody's healthy. They added more pieces. All right, get him out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was justified, but I'm saying it was justified, right? But as far as the Saints organization go, you as a fan, do you think that the firing of Dennis Allen was needed or warranted?
At some point, I think you have to recognize the divide between the coach and the players.
Okay.
And I think you could tell whether it was a press conference here or there, or the way they finished the year last season. I don't want to go too deep here, but they had a game against the Falcons.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen wanted to kneel the ball at the end of the game because the Saints were up 3 possessions.
Right.
The players went against his call, and they wanted to get the halfback Jamal Williams, who had led the league in touchdowns the year before. They wanted to get him his touchdown, so they audibled out of Dennis Allen's call to kneel the ball.
Yeah.
So and Alvin Kamara, apparently in his press conference yesterday, didn't exactly back Dennis Allen. So I think as an ownership group, you have to recognize the divide between the coach and the players. And they just weren't willing to go to war with him to the 9th degree, to the 110%. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. And it was evident in the 7-game losing streak, losing to the Panthers. Before you go, I do want to say we're kind of on the same wavelength with one thing, because I had a note here. Brian Callahan of the Titans, okay, Dave Canales of the Panthers, Gerard Mayo of the Patriots, Antonio Pierce of the Raiders. They're all new coaches this year.
Yep.
All their records are the same. They only have 2 wins on the season. So to your point, what's plan B? Like, who's coming in next?
Well, I was moving away from that topic right there, and I'm just saying, like, we have the greatest head coach in the NFL right now, in Andy Reid, doing State Farm commercials and acting a straight fool while we have at the bottom tier of the NFL coaches like Dennis Allen being fired. Like, this man, Andy Reid is on TV showing his behind off, like, and doing commercials with his quarterback. It's just crazy, like, the contrast between where the NFL is, like, between the top and the bottom.
Fair.
Like, so come on, man. Like, Andy Reid is on vacation and Dennis Allen is out here fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, now what I do want to know is, the Dolphins are also 2-7.
Right.
Where does Mike McDaniel stand? I don't think he's going to get fired because of what they did last year and the potential that this offense has.
Yeah.
And, man, I hate to see the band broken up. And I'm talking about the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins together. Like, what's done is already done in New Orleans.
Right.
But what are you expecting for the rest of the season? Like, what are the players actually saying now? Like, are they happy that the coach is gone?
I think there's a sense of relief and a newfound energy. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And you've got another divisional game coming up at home against the Falcons. I think you can expect a big-time effort from the Saints. I don't know what's going to be the outcome of that game. But they're 2-7. They have greater odds of landing the number 1 pick than making the playoffs. I read that today.
That would be awesome.
I'm not calling for a major comeback, but I'm telling you there's going to be a better effort and better product on the field than there was in weeks past.
Wow. All right. So warm take for me.
Yeah.
All right. The Dolphins almost got it done. All right. Tua's healthy. Raheem Mostert is healthy.
Yeah.
The offense is starting to find its groove.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen that top off offense like we have seen in a minute. The defense needs a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like they did get a turnover in the game. Jalen Ramsey was able to get an interception, so on and so forth. But the offense doesn't. It's either the Dolphins. It's a couple things. The Dolphins are comfortable, and they thought that they would always be as explosive as they were last year. Teams have figured out exactly what the Dolphins are and prepped around taking those things away, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm. They've had some success running the ball, especially in the first half.
I mean Achane has always been a threat, and Raheem Mostert, we know exactly what he is. Like he's a speedster who is also powerful.
Yeah.
So to your point, like that offense has found some solid thread running the ball. Like I can agree with that. But you can't run without a pass offense. And I know Tua is trying to find his footing back after the injury and so on and so forth. And this guy this guy almost gave me another heart attack by scrambling again.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh,
I saw it live. 4th and 3.
Bro, I'm like, yo, Tua, I'm about to drive my behind down there to Miami and thump you in the back of the head for sure.
Tells you the type of competitor he is, right?
Man, I mean, I get it, but no.
I hear you.
No.
That makes sense.
If you being in the game gives us a better chance to win the game, be in the game.
Right.
Don't do anything that's going to take you away from
toe the line, right?
Man.
Man.
They almost got it done, but Payton almost doesn't count. They found a way to lose the game, and once the Bills got the ball back with how much ever time was left on the clock, I already knew what time it was.
Can we go back to weekend wagers real quick? Because I have a quick story about this game.
What's up?
I noticed that the Dolphins were up 10-6 at halftime. They were.
Okay.
So I decided to put a little coin on the Bills.
Oh my gosh.
No, wait. Now here's the part that you're
gosh.
Here's the part that you're gonna like.
That's what friends are for.
No, I live bet the Bills at plus 100, so I was getting even money.
Yeah.
And then when the Bills went up 27-20, I got spooked and I cashed out because I was like, man, the Dolphins are desperate right now. I know they're about to just drive down the field and score. And that's what they did. They tied it up with like 30 seconds left.
Yeah. And
you know what? That's $7 that I would have gotten had I just kept it afloat and let the Bills win the game, which they ended up winning.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was worth the sweat because the Dolphins made it sweaty, man.
Listen, that's the one thing about betting, man. Like I've learned to place my bet, close the app. I don't even care anymore. If it hits, it hits. If it don't,
whatever. No cashing out. No. Just ride or die.
Hey.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. That's what Tony Dungy said.
Fair.
You play to win the game. And they are who we thought they were.
And Herm Edwards said that.
I
think Herm is the one that said
Edwards, yes, you're right.
You play to win the game.
You play to win the game, man.
All right, fair
enough. If you're not doing that, then what are we doing? All right. So last thoughts from me, though. Thoughts from me on cold takes.
Okay.
The NFL be NFLing.
Oh.
Okay. We talked about last week how this weekend would be a bunch of layups, but we didn't get that, right? We already talked about the Saints. And it's unfortunate that they had to go out against the Panthers. I didn't expect that. I don't know if you expected that. I thought it was going to be at least a 35-7 type matchup.
That was the nail in the coffin.
But that didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
The Commanders squeaked by versus the Giants. Like I didn't expect that to happen. I thought the Commanders were going to go out and it was going to be a 42-3 type game, right?
Oh, trust me, that's in cheers or jeers later. I'm going to get to that.
Right. We also have, and the biggest upset for me was the Bears getting smoked by the Cardinals. We've seen a lot of upside from Caleb Williams in this team, in this organization, but for them to come out and get smoked by the Cardinals the way they did,
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see much of that game, but I saw the score late in the second window, and I was kind of jarred.
Tough sledding, bro.
Yeah,
tough sledding.
Tough sledding.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to cheers and jeers. That was just my final thoughts on
it.
I
had one more cold take. It'll be real quick.
Go ahead. No worries.
So I mentioned this during the preseason. We gotta chill out with all this like Bo Nix hype.
Ooh, talk about it.
I'm just hearing the talking heads like anoint him as an obvious franchise quarterback, and I'm like, are y'all watching the same game I'm watching?
No, they're not.
Because I'm not a big stats guy, neither are you, and that's well established. But even if you were a stats guy, you can't really back this guy up. He's 29th in the NFL in quarterback rating.
90 yards in a game.
He had 60 yards in one game, 90 yards in another. He likes to run around a lot. He doesn't have a huge arm where you can just drive the ball down the field. I don't want to bang on the guy. It's just the fact that everyone's ready to anoint him, and I don't see it yet. I want to see more. That's all I'm saying.
What I will say is this is the type of quarterback who eventually will get traded and become a top quarterback in the NFL.
Like a Sam Darnold? Right now.
Yes. 100%. Sam Darnold. Yes.
You think?
They're sitting, what are they, 7-2 at this point? The Vikings
6-2, yep.
I don't know. They won this weekend. So.
I know, but they had the bye.
Oh, okay.
So they were 5-2, 6-2, yeah.
Right. So I can see it happening. And
okay, honestly, hot take.
Honestly, Sean Payton might not be what he used to be. Maybe it was more Drew Brees than it was Sean Payton.
Well, I was about to say hot take. If you want to compare Darnold and Nix real quick.
Yeah.
Darnold is the significantly more talented player.
Woo.
Yeah.
That's definitely a hot take.
It is.
But
I'm rolling with it.
It's hard to see a potential in a quarterback when he's not in a situation. Name a receiver from the Denver Broncos.
Cortland Sutton. That's about it.
Exactly. And Cortland Sutton, where has he been this season?
I don't know.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is Bo Nix is not in the best situation. I'm not sitting here pulling for him.
Right.
All I'm saying is Justin Fields.
Fair.
So
I just think we got to slow down. Like everyone, like the man's got a 79 quarterback. And I'm not a big stats guy, but you can also just go watch the game.
Yeah.
And he likes to run around a lot. He's not driving the ball down the field. That's what I'm seeing.
No, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. And I would give him some grace because there's no telling exactly where this guy would be had he been on another team.
Yeah. I
like his mobility.
I do like his mobility, and I hope he has a good career, but he's not the next big thing. Let's just move off that.
Well, this is also coming from a guy who thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be the holy grail of the NFL this season. So
I'm going to give you your props there. I wouldn't go that far, not the holy grail, but I thought he'd be better. I thought he'd be much better. Yeah.
He is being better. Actually, he's playing. He is better than what he was last year. His stats are tenfold better than what they were last year.
Yeah, true.
So
all right, we'll finish up cold takes. What's next?
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers and jeers, man. Let me just go ahead and go into this whole cheers and jeers thing, man. And I'm going to start it off here, Peyton.
Yeah.
Cheers to Joel Embiid, man, for pushing a reporter. Right? At some point, you have to control your temperament. You have to, and I get it. You're a man. I'm not saying anything, but I feel like this is bigger than what this reporter was reporting on. Right now, the reporter jeers to the reporter as well because he didn't have to call out Joel Embiid's family and so on and so forth. If you don't know the story, by all means, look up Joel Embiid pushes reporter and they get into this whole altercation, so on and so forth, right? But Embiid, he's a man first, and I will definitely agree with that. And I'm not taking anything away from Joel Embiid. Cheers to you for standing up for your family and standing on business, right? But the thing is, there's a fine line between reporting and being a columnist, right? A columnist is more opinion based. A reporter states the facts, right? So this guy was a columnist and he was writing a clout piece. He got exactly what he was looking for, right? So with trolls like that, Joel Embiid, you cannot let that get to you, because there is plenty of people who have opinions about you. They're going to say whatever they want to say to you to get a reaction. And my jeers goes to you, because you should not let that happen. You got bigger things to focus on. You just had a child, right? That's family first, right? You can't let that. What example are you setting? Your team needs you. You need to get back on the basketball court. At the end of the day, you have things other than this guy to focus on. And you can't go around putting out small fires wherever they come up. And if you do that, you're going to make it harder on yourself. So that's the only reason I say that. And like I said, it's a lot of cheers and a lot of jeers in that one story. But Embiid, bro, you have to tighten up, come back to the court, show us what you can do on the basketball court, and we'll give you your props there.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah, man.
My first jeer goes to the New York Giants. How much of that game did you see, Russ? Because they actually had ample opportunities to zero.
Yeah.
They had a few opportunities to at least make that game closer than it really was in the end. Okay, the Commanders had a 3rd and 18 at the end of their first half with like 20 seconds left at midfield, let's call it. They ended up scoring a touchdown. Okay, and then the Giants make it a 1-possession game. It's 24-16. All they have to do is kick the extra point to make it a 7-point game. They want to go for 2. And Daniel Jones scans the field and gets sacked. And, like my thing with the Giants is like, how long have we been waiting on like Daniel Jones to just ascend? And it's just like, here we are 2-7.
Bro,
again.
You know what's crazy though? This year, there's a lot of things that are obvious in the NFL, right? One, the first obvious thing is there's a lot of injuries, right? And we haven't seen a lot of players play ball yet. Either they started the season and they're not playing anymore. But just go and check the IR list, right? There's a lot of players on there who should be playing and who can make a difference on their teams. Now that, and then the top tier teams in the NFL and the bottom tier teams, that is very obvious in the NFL.
Stark contrast.
Like this is more obvious this year than I've ever seen in the NFL.
It's almost getting to an NBA level.
Like there's like 6 teams at the top of the NFL.
Yeah.
2 teams in the middle.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the NFL. Like the rest of the NFL. It's so crazy. I've never seen the NFL this way before. And for me, it's just like,
it's probably due to the injuries.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because when I mentioned the injuries, the first team that came to mind was the 49ers. Right? Yeah. They're like one of those teams that's on the bottom tier of the middle, right? Yeah. And you're like, this team could be so much better had they had their running back.
Yeah.
And they also dealt with their injuries with Ayuk, Debo, so on and so forth, right? So, man, it's just interesting where this season has taken us. And
I think the perfect litmus test.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like
I think the perfect litmus test for your theory that injuries are having a big impact on the season is the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, man.
Because they started 1-4. They lost to the Bears early in the season. They had their whole offensive line was decimated. They were missing Kupp and Nakua.
Yeah.
Now they're healthy. Now they're winning.
They balling.
It's kind of that simple, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
what's your other cheer?
All right. So cheers. Cheers. Can we get a round of applause, man? Round of applause to PG-13. He'll be making his debut tonight, man.
There we go.
So this is a team that's expecting a lot from PG-13. I'm sure that he's going to be on some form of minute restriction or whatever the case may be. But big hand to PG-13 for making his debut against, I don't know who they're playing tonight, but by all means, I hope he can deliver for this team because they need it.
Yeah, what are they, 1-5?
Man, it's been tough for the 76ers, and I'm actually excited when they traded him when they picked him
Signed him.
right, when they
Sure.
picked him up in free agency, I wasn't really excited about it, but with him being out the first couple of games, I'm excited to see how he fits into this rotation.
Yeah.
Playing alongside Maxey and all of those guys once Joel Embiid gets back in the rotation. I
no doubt.
no telling what it'll be. Hopefully they can make it to the second round and past that.
Well, Paul George, shout out to the young ones. If you want to go see someone that can just hoop and in his prime on any given night can be easily one of the best players in the league, just go look up Paul George highlights.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
I'm gonna just leave. I'm gonna just let that go.
What
look up Paul George highlights. Okay, cool.
In his prime, he was.
All right, here we go. Paul George, and this is off the cuff.
All right,
Paul George or Carmelo Anthony.
That's a great comp. No, I really think so because Melo's like a however many times scoring champ, but you got to think about that. That's all I know.
I just put their careers in the same basket.
Who are you taking?
Ooh, I didn't expect you to fire that back on me, bro. You're the expert, so I wanted you to answer the question. Like I didn't expect you to fire it back on me.
I'm gonna go PG.
You going PG?
Yeah. If you're just taking each of their primes, I think. Oh, I don't know. PG's handle is a little tighter.
Now, what I will say is, from my recollection, I don't remember Carmelo Anthony having a devastating injury in his career.
Oh, good point.
PG-13 had that disgusting injury.
Yep, which was not his fault, by the way. I don't know if you know the full story behind that.
Well, I mean, I saw it.
The stanchion.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's a crime. Should have never happened.
Oh my
But anyways,
gosh.
yeah.
So
yeah, that's tough. We do a lot of off the cuff here.
I'm gonna go with Carmelo, bro.
Okay,
I'm going with Carmelo, bro. I'm gonna take. Carmelo.
You can't go wrong there,
man. I'm gonna take Carmelo. This guy was just
a bully.
All right, one more.
Oh man, I told you we do. I told you we do a lot of off the cuff, right?
All right, here we go. This is a good one. And take away the championships. Take away the championships. Carmelo has none, but this guy has one.
Who?
Carmelo Anthony.
Or wait, okay.
Or Paul Pierce.
Carmelo Anthony or Paul Pierce. Wow. I'm going to go Carmelo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What say you? Real quick.
I'm going Carmelo.
All right, cool.
I mean, you can't deny Paul Pierce and what he was able to do with the Celtics, but
yeah.
I'm gonna go Carmelo. I mean, if I'm taking away the championships, that was the origin of the big three.
Yeah.
So
quickly on that matchup, Carmelo, Paul Pierce. Carmelo, a little taller, a little stronger, higher release point. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna take anything away from Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was I just like how gritty he was. Paul Pierce gonna talk his stuff and then he gonna back it up at the same time.
Fair. That's true.
Carmelo, he was more of I'm gonna let my game do the talking for me, and he had his times where he would, hit you with the look, but
yeah. I see what you're saying.
Paul Pierce was gonna bet on himself and not care.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Whatever the outcome was.
True.
All right. So my last cheer goes to the Raptors for hanging Vince Sanity's jersey up in the Raptors. No pun intended. But I really do appreciate that. That was a legend. So hand clap to Vince Carter for having his jersey retired in Toronto, and I think it was well deserving. So
heck yeah,
cheers all around for him, man.
Yeah, I got one more, just real quick. Cheers to the Lions, but jeers to the Packers. I know that was your game of the week. It didn't really turn out to be much of a game of the week. The Lions just steamrolled them. So
I don't know. It was a good game.
You thought?
I thought it was a good game. The Lions did find a way to break away.
Yeah.
And
that pick six turned it.
Whether the pick six was amazing, bro. Like it was like Joseph, he just popped up out of nowhere. It was like he was underground, and then when the ball was thrown, he just came out of nowhere.
It was a good play
into the house. So I do think that the Lions are one of those teams. I put them in those top 6 teams in the NFL right now.
No doubt.
And
possibly the class of the NFC right now.
This is their first time being 7-1 since the 1950s, bro. So
they're on a mission.
It's good to see that.
Yeah.
And man, the NFL is just so lopsided this year, but I'm looking forward. That makes for good playoff football.
Absolutely.
You know, we're still a while away from the playoffs, but we'll see how the back half of this season unfolds. But with that being said, man, this was a good show. This was the Weekend Hangover. I think we got a little carried away and got a little excited.
We always go a little off the cuff, right? But that's what makes us the Sportaholics.
Yes, man. we ran a little bit long, but if you are watching us right now, by all means, we really appreciate you guys for sticking around with us and tuning in every Monday. Man, I just want to say thank you. At the end of the day, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support, and it doesn't go unappreciated. Without you guys, we are nothing. So by all means, go ahead and put a heart emoji in the comments. Go ahead and put a heart emoji in the comments for the love, man. And we'll appreciate that. So
100%.
It wasn't too much activity going on in the comments today. But it is.
They were chilling, just enjoying it.
They still hung over, bro.
They still true. As are we.
Hey, man, I appreciate the hearts that's going down in the chat right now, man. So I appreciate you guys for watching us. Peyton, like I always do, like I always give you a chance to let the people know how you feel, anything you want to share with the people before we get out of here.
Hey, I'm going to pretty much just voice what you just said, echo it. It's an echo chamber. You know, we really appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Another great edition of the Sportaholics, another great Weekend Hangover episode. Excited to get back on it tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do have the last call coming out tomorrow. I won't be here with you tomorrow, bro, but you know, it's always a good time to catch up and talk to you. And
for sure,
tomorrow's another great episode where we recap all the weekend stuff, just like we did today, and get ready for the week ahead, man. And
absolutely
looking forward to watching some ball with you after we get off the line here, man.
There you go, man. Me too.
With that being said, we are the Sportaholics. I'm the host, Russ. That's my guy, Peyton. He's the expert, man. Until next time, you can follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, so on and so forth. You already know the channels to hit us up on, man. If you haven't done that already, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. All right. So until next time, we out.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's get out of here.